Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Willie Russo. I'm the Investor and Media Relations Manager for Boresight. Thank you so much for joining us for today's investor webinar ahead of the company's listing on the Australian Securities Exchange tomorrow, the 10th of June, 2026 at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The company will be listed under the ticker code BST. Now, at its core, Boresight is solving a problem that has emerged very rapidly in modern warfare: the widespread use of low-cost drones in conflicts around the world. This has
Thank you,
fundamentally
Jane.
changed the battlefield. While drone threats have evolved quickly, training systems designed to prepare military personnel and counter drone technologies have not kept pace. Think about it. Every drone, every soldier in every counter drone capability must prove that they can kill a drone or shoot down a drone, if you want to think of it that way. Boresight has developed a purpose-built target drone system designed specifically to support training, testing, and certification activities. We believe this positions the company within a high-growth market with recurring demand characteristics, a scalable business model, and opportunities to continue to expand internationally. Joining me today are Boresight's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Justin Olde, and Executive Director, Michael Sinkowitsch. With that, I'm going to hand over to Michael.
Thanks very much, Willie. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Boresight Ltd pre-listing webinar. We are pleased that you could join us. As Willie said, my name is Michael Sinkowitsch, and I'm a co-founder and executive director of Boresight. Tomorrow is a momentous day for the company when we officially list on the ASX. This is the culmination of many months of effort to get to this point, but also a number of years of effort in creating the company's offers, customer, and revenue base. You can see here our disclaimer. If you haven't already had an opportunity to do so, please read the disclaimer as it contains important information regarding this presentation. I'll now hand over to Justin Olde, MD and CEO of Boresight, to run through the presentation itself. Justin?
Thanks, Mike. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Boresight is an Australian defence technology company that was established in 2020 after it identified a potential gap in the marketplace, the ability to train effectively against the aerial drone threat on the modern battlefield. We saw there was a need for cost-effective, repeatable mission training drones that could be used by militaries and industry to develop and test systems and train against the drone threat. These target drones need to be sophisticated enough to accurately emulate the threat, but cost-effective enough to be expendable. Since 2020, Boresight has grown to have 27 employees, with more to be added this year. This includes the establishment of a small team in the US servicing North America and an office in the UK servicing Europe. Both locations will expand in size this year. Boresight's product range has grown to be grouped into two streams: aerial target drones for counter-drone training and testing purposes, and attritable or disposable ISR or intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance drones for military use. In simple terms, these are drones with cameras on them. It's important at this point to note that Boresight is a drone company, not a counter-drone company. We make drones to support the counter-drone industry. We don't actually shoot drones down ourselves. We supply them to our customers for them to shoot down in training and testing scenarios. You can see here on this slide the number of each type that we've sold, with the total figure being around 6,000 drones sold to date. And our financial year 24-25 revenue was approximately 4.36 million. We already have a very well-established and growing customer base, both domestically and internationally. You can see on this slide a selection of our customers. They include some of the biggest militaries in the world and some of the most successful counter-drone system providers in the world. Real-world conflicts have shown that the pace of drone warfare has outstripped training readiness. While drone threats have become more numerous, autonomous, and disposable, the training systems have remained largely unchanged. Real-world conflicts have shown that the pace of drone warfare is outstripping training readiness. What is required is a realistic training environment that can emulate this current threat, but also evolve readily as the threat evolves. It also requires purpose-built aerial targets that are cost-effective enough to be attritable, that is, be shot down and replaced when necessary. But they also need to be purpose-built. There needs to be a range of different target types to emulate the wide range of threats, and they need to be easy to use, fly repeatable missions, and be swarmable. Boresight provides all of that capability. As mentioned earlier, this also enables Boresight to service two customer types within the broader counter-drone domain. That is, the military end users and the counter-drone industry that supports them. So what exactly is the Boresight solution in this proposition? Well, we provide low-cost, sovereign-designed and rapidly manufactured target drones. These allow for mass deployment, enabling the cost-effective replication of threat scenarios. This, in turn, provides the ability for militaries to standardise their training and to certify personnel and systems. Standardised training is of immense importance to militaries. We do all of this without the prohibitive cost of destroying expensive operational drones. Our solutions scale rapidly by the addition of extra additive manufacturing capacity, components, and drone assembly technicians. It's transplantable as well, which we've already demonstrated by setting up a manufacturing capability in the US. We will likely look to set up manufacturing in other regions when the critical mass of customer base is reached. Boresight also has the early mover advantage. Boresight has created a new category in defence training, one that provides realistic and repeatable counter-drone training cost effectively. We currently have 3 products on the market. The BQ400 on the left of your screen is a small quadcopter aerial target drone that replicates the small ISR type drones that we've all seen videos of from Ukraine and other military theatres. To date, we've sold over 5,000 of these swarmable drones, and that means that one operator can fly numerous drones simultaneously. In the middle of the screen, the BQ750 is our larger quadcopter target drone that replicates the bigger ISR drones, the bomber-type drones, and things that can carry significant lethal payloads. And finally, on the right, we have the BS350, which is a traditional camera-style drone, but developed for the ADF as part of our Advanced Strategic Capability Accelerator program, or ASCA program, which was aimed to develop a sovereign drone capability. Boresight was one of 3 companies selected by the Australian Defence Force to provide a sovereign drone capability, and the Australian Defence Force continues to invest in this program to enhance the BS350's capabilities. Boresight's target drones are underpinned by an in-house developed flight management and mission planning system. All of the target drones use the same software, meaning customers only need to learn one system across multiple target types. This drives customer usage, uptake, and lock-in. It also means that with increasingly complex missions and scenarios, we can fly those very simply and safely. This enhances the realism and future-proofs our system. As also mentioned earlier, Boresight's swarming capability enables multiple target drones to be flown simultaneously by one operator off a single ground control station. This is powered by Boresight's proprietary flight management software. What it means to our customers is they can easily conduct safe, coordinated swarming of aerial threats with customizable flight profiles that are compliant with local airspace and flying range regulations. This is designed to ensure safe, simple, and repeatable training scenarios. We have a range of additional target drone types in different stages of development at the moment, with a view to most of these being released in 2026. The BF100 on the left of the screen is a fixed-wing aerial target that will emulate the smaller fixed-wing ISR drones that we are seeing increasingly in threat theatres. With their particular flight profiles, speed and endurance being emulated by the BF150. We have customers already for this system, BF100. The BQ300 will be an FPV-type quadcopter that will emulate the very specific threat posed by first-person view drones, including their speed, manoeuvrability, and agility. And then finally, the BF150 will be a larger fixed-wing aerial target that will emulate the threat from the one-way mission or kamikaze-type drones, such as an AeroVironment Switchblade or the Russian Lancet-type drones. All of these additional target types will use the same ground control station and flight control software as our existing product line. These products will also be swarmable. The design and manufacture of other target types will continue to be reviewed as the threat evolves and therefore the training requirements of our customers evolve. This slide shows how Boresight is thinking about long-term customer growth. Boresight provides a scalable, sovereign manufacturing base. We have existing defence-grade production capability that scales readily to meet the demand and can be replicated globally, either in a Boresight facility or via a licensing model at a partner facility. This gives us a lot of scope for growth. We're also vertically integrating where it makes commercial sense to do so in order to secure our supply chains and maintain control over our components. This also aids in our overall sovereign capability and ensures that localised production is aligned with national security priorities. And over time, we also see the opportunity to leverage these licensing arrangements that can extend our reach beyond our own current footprint. All of this has the potential to add additional revenue streams beyond just drones. You can see here our go-to-market strategy. It's relatively straightforward. Customers typically start with small orders, some of which are simply done via credit cards. These transactions are small enough to bypass traditional defence purchasing requirements, which can be very slow and cumbersome. Once customers start using our drones, they destroy them, necessitating additional orders. These orders are typically larger than the original order, and as this evolves, our system becomes part of their normal training routine, which is how we lock our customers in. As customers' training becomes more complex, we provide them with the swarming capability and other target types. We're simply a simple solution for the customers. Additional regional orders can enable scaled production in that region once a particular volume is reached. For example, the commencement of manufacturing in the US to service the increasing customer base in that market. The company has continued to grow as more militaries purchase and introduce into service counter-drone capabilities, and as more industry players develop counter-drone technologies to service those militaries. Revenue growth from 2.76 million in FY 23-24 to 4.36 million in 24-25, and that included a growth in the US market from $90,000 in 23-24 to $1 million in 24-25. As mentioned, we've sold around 6,000 drones of different types to date, a high proportion of which have been exported to various military and industry customers around the world. We have successfully delivered the ADF ISR drone capability, with additional orders having already been received. And we established our US presence in 2023, a UK presence in 2025, and each of these areas will continue to grow in importance to the company. And we will grow the personnel and manufacturing base in those locations accordingly. We've already been supporting the ADF's large counter-drone program, Project Land 156, a project that has multiple years to run, and therefore multiple years and increasing number of target drone requirement. Building a small attritable target drone that is suitable for military testing and training and development activities is harder than it first appears. Hobby drones are designed for hobbyists. They're designed to be fiddled with. They're not designed to fly consistently. They're designed for entertainment. We do have some militaries that are 3D printing their own drones, but they're using internal assets and people to do that. As they scale, they're realising that it's harder than it looks and they can't keep up with the required scale. We've actually got several customers that have started down that path and eventually turned to us to service their requirement. And then, as for the big primes, they need multi-million-dollar programs to make their money. And as you need to be lean and agile and have very good processes in place to make smaller attritable target drones cost effectively, that's just not the lane that the big primes play in. I'm now going to hand back to Michael now for the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, Justin. You can see here, very shortly, the Boresight leadership team, which has deep knowledge of the drone and counter-drone domains, as well as a long history of experience within defence itself and also other industries. We also have on the board ASX experience with audit and governance knowledge. Combined, these members bring a solid foundation for the future of the company. The board is ably supported by a team of experienced executives, as you can see here. Dr. Alexander Hall is the co-founder of the company and has a long history of drone program experience. Both Jason Henry and James Pryor have extensive experience within their particular domains of operations and business development. Each is highly effective in their role and provide the drive and vigour necessary for the company to succeed. The capital structure is shown here. The listing price is 20 cents, giving a fully diluted market cap pre-raise of 33.8 million. And the IPO capital raise is $8 million, with the post-IPO shares on issue being around 209 million. The market cap post-raise is 41.8 million. There are 34.2 million options with a 5-year expiry and a 25-cent strike price. Upon listing, the top 20 shareholders will control 78.1% of the company. In conclusion, every soldier and every counter-drone capability must prove that they can kill a drone. We aim to provide Western militaries with affordable, scalable, and safe counter-drone training solutions to meet the ever-evolving drone threat. We have an established market position with major customers across the Western world and approximately 6,000 drones sold to date. We have a compelling recurring revenue business model. Our drones are consumables used in annualized training cycles, creating regular and repeat demand. Initial orders are easy to place and have been shown to scale up rapidly, driving increased demand. We have an early mover advantage and strong customer stickiness via a cost-effective solution designed and manufactured in Australia and in the US, with improving sovereign supply chains. We are ready to replicate that manufacturing model in other regions when we reach the critical mass in that region. Our current contracts include ongoing opportunities for growth with an existing customer base of blue chip defence companies, both military and industry. Thank you, everyone. I'll now pass back to Willie for the questions.
Thank you for that, Michael and Justin. That was great to hear. We've got a couple of questions that have come through. First of all, an attendee's asked, what's the scale of the opportunity here at Boresight?
Look, if you take the Australian Defence Force and Australian Army, for example, the Australian Army is about 25,000 soldiers. If 5% of them shoot down one drone a year, and that I would suggest is a relatively conservative number, that's 1,250 target drones that are needed just for that. If you then scale that through the US Marine Corps, which is significantly larger than the Australian Defence Force by itself, and the US Army, which is a huge organisation, you begin to see the size of the addressable market. It's a substantial opportunity.
Okay, you've touched on this in the presentation, Justin, but perhaps just to reiterate, why can't militaries do this in-house?
Yes, we did touch on this to a degree. Militaries are there to do military things. I mean, militaries don't build their own fighter jets or submarines. We go to industry to do that because we can do it more cost effectively. And we've seen this in the militaries that have started doing building drones themselves. And as they try scaling up, they realise they can't quite keep up with it. We have the manufacturing capability. We've got a ground control station that's designed specifically for that testing and training environment. And we're finding that they are actually trying, but they're discovering it's not an easy thing to do, and they're quickly coming back to us.
Okay, great. And we're slightly running out of time. So just one last question. What does the future look like for Boresight?
Well, start by getting the drones that I've mentioned before into market and expanding those markets. I think there is large potential for manufacturing in Europe and other regions in the near to medium term future, and increasing the size and scale of our company to meet an ever increasing customer demand.
Thanks so much, Justin. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. That's the end of the presentation. It was great to hear the full Boresight story. You can follow Boresight on the ASX under the ticker code BST from tomorrow, midday Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's Wednesday, the 10th of June, midday Australian Eastern Standard Time. For any further questions, please reach out to us via the contact details on the bottom of our ASX announcements. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.